Hey bro, it's me, Snoke Dog. You guys remember me? What up, little bitches? Today we're gonna talk about I can't do this voice. Yeah, so we're gonna do patch 14.17 review quickly. I don't have much time because I've been really busy with uni and a lot of real life stuff, so I'm sorry. This is gonna not be a scripted video, so forgive me if I'm going a little bit just all over the place. But I did want to talk about patch 14.17 because there are quite a few changes that do matter to us, and also I want to talk about the Comet page and not a new build, but talking about older build that has, I think is genuinely overpowered and really powerful. So firstly, let's just go through the changes. One of the first changes that actually do affect us is a cannon nerf. Cannon's currently a little bit strong. I'll be honest though, I haven't played against him, but he is really powerful whenever I see him. So a 10% AP nerf is actually quite big. A lot of the champion changes aren't actually that prevalent. They do matter, of course, about in their own selective roles, but it's not a lot of top laners that are actually being affected. So next, I'm going to talk about the big changes, like the big changes, and that's absorb life and cut down. I know many of you guys have already know about my Comet Rune page and have been playing it. I haven't made a video on it, it will come out soon. I've been saying that for the past month. I'm just, listen guys, sorry. It'll come out soon. But yeah, I think that with these absorb life changes, yeah, that shit's fucking dead. Don't ever go absorb life. These nerfs are way too huge. Just from level 1 to 5, it's completely pointless. Minus 2 HP. If you think about it, let's just be optimistic and say get 30 CS. You get 30 HP. Wow, okay, cool, really impressive. That's like almost nothing. Obviously it doesn't matter when it's super late game, but also when it's super late game, everyone just kind of one-shots you anyways. Like, do you really need that sustain? It's not bad, don't get me. No, it's pretty bad. Just don't touch this. Honestly, I would not touch this rune. I played it and I tried it one game, and I didn't like it. It felt like it didn't do anything. The cut down nerf does absolutely nothing. I still think it's honestly still the most broken, one of the most broken runes on Yorick, especially with the Comet page. With the Comet page, you play in a way where you want to poke down the enemy, get them to lower HP, and when they're lower HP, you get access to two really powerful options. You either keep poking and push them out, or you threaten to dive them, and this helps you get into that scenario that Yorick is really good at. Now the third change is honestly the biggest one. Okay, before I go on to the third change, let's just go and absorb life real quick. I forgot to mention this, but because absorb life is getting nerfed, it's ironically not actually bad for us. It's quite good. So it sucks, it's going to be weaker when we go it, but we're not going to go this. But it's also weaker on the champions that do go it. And I want to talk about this in the third rune in a second here. Whenever enemy top laners, enemy champions go absorb life against Yorick, it's super broken because absorb life applies to ghouls. So when they kill a ghoul, they get a bunch of HP back. And this is really disgusting when you combine it with something like Second Wind and Doran Shield. It can make it so that you can almost never kill the enemy. Now onto Fleet Footwork, which is probably the most broken rune in the entire game right now. Yeah, now it's nerfed, so it's pretty much dead. 5% reduced movement speed for a shorter duration, and the hero juice. This is really good because quite a few champions that are really good against the top lane go this rune. There's a few examples. Yasuo and Yone are the big ones. Those matchups are absolutely insufferable purely because of this rune. There's too much sustain and there's just too much movement speed. It's almost impossible to land E, it's almost impossible to just try out sustain them and play the long game. So with this and absorb life, these matchups will become a lot easier, but also Fleet Footwork nerf matters a lot because this means ADCs, junglers, just any champion that goes fleet right like previously, they're not going to be as effective as anymore. That 5% movement speed, it's small, and yeah, I know it's small, but at the same time, that could be the difference between you landing an E. So I've been talking about it a lot, but yes, the Yone matchup now, which is previously one of the worst Yorick matchups and can feel super oppressive, is now going to be quite a bit easier. Don't get me wrong, he's still going to be incredibly bullshit, nothing about that changes, but the laning phase will at least be, I'm not going to say playable, but like, at least you can move around in the lane. You know, you can still right click in the lane, which is really sweet. That being said, I'm going to quickly talk about the current Rune page that I go or will go in this new patch. It's a new patch live for me. I just streamed and I finished quite a few games, and I think I like this page the most now. It's quite flexible. The Comet page is just incredibly broken. The main idea is you want to spam poke the enemy and you just have hella poke in lane. No, this is like a more scaling page. Well, not a scaling page, but like earlier levels you don't really want to do anything too much. Level 6 is where the money's at, because then you can just spam ghouls and just toss them at the enemy and then just poke them out and then get plates. Alright? If you don't want to go transgenderism, you can go absolute focus as well. That's completely fine. Cut down is still really super good. Sweet. Legend haste, I'm not sure, but I like this right now. Legend alacrity works as well. Presence of mind, I think, is also still really good. I still run out of mana sometimes, but because we're going mana flow bad, it's not that big of an issue. Triumph, you can go. I've definitely had some success with Triumph, but it doesn't really help the plan of this build. So I would still recommend Cut Down and Legend Haste, or Cut Down and Presence of Mind. Yeah, you can also go Ability Haste in this here as well. But if you go, because we go a lot of Ability Haste with Profane, Grudge, those two items, and if you go Transgenderism as well, you won't have any problems with Ability Haste in general. With that being said, I'm going to talk about the final build setup. I don't actually have a setup, but I've talked about it in the previous video. Actually, maybe I do have a setup. Oh, perfect, I actually do. So, what the fuck do I... what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Cleaver Shojin Meandries is a build that I've talked about and is very powerful. It's still very powerful. It's still incredibly effective. However, I think that because of kind of revisiting and my kind of discovery of how powerful Comet is, I think it's even more powerful now. And honestly, straight up, I think Comet, Shojin Cleaver, that Bruiser build, is such a powerful combo together that it actually might be competitively viable. It's good enough so that Yorick is pickable in pro play, and honestly, it's just insanity. So the reason why it's so good is because Shojin, Shojin Cleaver are already good items. I've talked about it a million times, but I'll talk about it again just for the sake of making the video longer for more money. No, I was kidding. Shojin is really good because the 12% damage amp applies to the ghouls and also applies to your E damage and ult damage, which is really important as well for a later item, okay? And Cleaver combined with this ghoul damage and increased damage from this, it is ridiculous. Leandries now, in tandem with this E and ult increase in damage from Shojin, and also the 6% extra from Leandries, and in the burn, is also so much consistent burn damage and makes it bruises so much that it genuinely rivals lethality, Yorick's consistent damage. Of course, it'll be lower burst damage in total, but when you just land an E on them, oh, it's gonna burn, trust me. The only problem with this build is that if you're ever caught off alone, with no ghouls, no maiden, you're pretty useless, I'm gonna be honest. At least you have a bit of takiness of the health of these items, but you're not gonna be able to fight back properly. Luckily, you do have a lot of ability haste, so you can actually kind of EW to try and run away. But yeah, definitely still it's not like Triforce, it's not like any of the other Bruiser builds. You don't have any way to fight back if you don't have ghouls and maiden, so be careful about that. For the final part, I just want to reiterate, Death Stance GA, you don't really need to go Death Stance GA. The last two items are just heavily interchangeable. I think Stacks is a super solid option as well. GA is never bad, I just want to clarify again. I think Abyssal Mask is really slept on. Right now, Abyssal Mask has this effect, it got recently buffed, where it reduces the enemy's MR by 30%. Now imagine that, 30% MR reduction with Leandry's burn, with Shojin increased damage and E and ult. Yeah, I think that it could potentially be very amazing. Stack is always going to be good, it's going to have the tenacity, just a big shield, big damage, solid item, solid boost item. I think that Atar, what the hell? Other items are also really good. I showed that such as like usual. There was another item that I wanted to quickly go through, but I can quickly find it. Overlord's Blood Mail. I think Overlord's Blood Mail is potentially a really good item too. The reason why I think Overlord's Blood Mount is potentially really good as a fifth or sixth item is because by that time you're gonna get like 180 from the item or something, and it's just a big stat check machine gun item. The stats aren't that good in Yorick, but when you go something like Sterax, right? Oh, that's gonna be beefy Sterax, you know. You could combine Titanic maybe, and you know, honestly, you see the angle I'm going for with this and this, yeah. And one more item wants to go through potentially. That's also pretty decent. So I'll find it. I think Stridebreaker could make a potential comeback. I tried it and I didn't have much success with it, but I think this item, it kind of fits Yorick perfectly. The only problem with this item is that it doesn't, like, it pretty much has no damage to it at all. But when you have Cleaver Shojin and Meandries, that's already enough damage. And having that Stridebreaker, like movement speed and utility, that should be a very powerful effect in team fights, just catching people off. And it can be like a mini grudge slow, which is really nice when you catch onto them with your E and W. With that being said, there's too many options to test, obviously. Obviously, solid generalist tank items, Frozen Heart, Randoms, Kanik, Rukan, but if you're going Sterax, Cerebral Visage is also really good. I'd say the best armor item would probably be just in general Death's Dance, and I'd say the best MR generalist item would be Abyssal Mask, for the sake of just saying all of that. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just going to be pretty sloppily, like, word-said spoken, because, you know, I'm doing it on the spot. But I can do this a lot easier. You can get a lot of information from me. So if you guys want more of this content, please be sure to kind of ask for it. Yeah, Comet's really good. Obviously, as well, I want to talk about just to quickly. Okay, I'm going over like everything, but like Conquer is still really good. This is the Rune page that I go. Okay, don't go conditioning. Conditioning is greedy. Actually, you can do conditioning against tanks, but like against like more aggressive early game champions, which is like what you're going to be playing as majority of the time as Yorick. Both in a second when are still more effective. And we'll go over the hob tree really quickly. This is what I go. Honestly, if you don't want to go precision, that's fine as well. You can go do this. Demolish Bone Bunny, sweet. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching this video. Big scripted videos coming up soon. I just gotta be bothered to work on it. And yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Smoke dog out, baby. Okay, sorry, I don't know how to end videos.